welcome to the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I am Jessica Lorimer, sales coach, leadership expert, and today I'm joined by one of my favourite people on the internet and just in real life, because Julie Dennis is one of the first people that I've actually met in real life, which is quite exciting. So welcome, Julie.
Oh, thank you, Jess. That's true, actually. We met at the recent Dotties meetup, and it does make such a massive difference, doesn't it, after you've been hanging around online with people, to suddenly see them in the flesh, especially when they actually look like their profile pictures.
I know. And I remember this conversation because we had quite a lot of Prosecco that day. I remember the conversation going something like you saying, everyone looks like their profile pictures. And then us having a very odd conversation about how on Tinder, people often don't look like their profile pictures.
They'll definitely be improving themselves there.
I'm like, just for anybody who's on Tinder, maybe remove all the filters, because we've had very in-depth discussions and analysis. And we know that filters are not a good look for anyone. Unless it's Snapchat.
Just be yourselves, people. Just be yourselves.
I was talking to some of my male friends after we'd had that conversation, actually. And they were saying about the above the shoulder shots. Mm-hmm. And they were like, we know that if somebody only has photos above the shoulders, that they are concerned about what is below the shoulders. Yeah. And I was like, I've never thought about that. But now that you say it, I hear the conversation.
Yeah, or they just couldn't be bothered to change out of their yoga pants.
That is my life.
So it's the life of an online business owner, right?
Well, I think they're stretchy, they feel good, they're comfy, and you can walk to the shop in them.
You can.
They're not pajamas. So I'm like, technically, these are actual clothes.
They're real clothes, and they make you look kind of sporty.
Exactly. People think I've been working out. Incidentally, some of the time I have been, just not that often. Even on my new recent gym bench. So, Julie, you are one of my favourite people on the internet because you specialise in an area that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Mm-hmm. So for all you guys and actual guys with appendages, going to put that out there, that listen to my podcast, Julie deals with something that may actually terrify you a little bit. It's the menopause.
It's the M word. It's the M word.
That terrifying period in a woman's life. What I love about you is that you make it not scary, because I think we all have this perception of the menopause, especially as women, that it's something to be avoided at all costs, that we should never ever talk about, and that absolutely you dread happening. You actually make it really simple, and I'll be honest, because I'm 28, so the menopause is a little way off. I'm hoping
you've got a while to go. Yeah,
crossing my fingers here, but I remember being really petrified of it, because all I ever see, or all I'm surrounded by, are people who are like, oh my God, it's horrendous. It's the worst thing ever. And you will literally want to walk to the nearest bridge and take a dive.
Yeah.
And I think that's awful. I think that's, as anticipatory fear goes, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But you make it simple and easy for people to understand and for not to be worried by, and I think that's amazing. So tell us in your words what you do, because obviously my explanation is always a little bit haphazard when it comes to
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about menopause is that, first of all, to remember 100% of women are going to go through it, right? So it is unavoidable for women and also for men, whether you might be living with a woman who's menopausal or you might be working with a woman who's menopausal. But it's really important for not just women, but for men and younger women to know what's going on too. Second thing is, it's a completely natural phase in the female life cycle, just like menstruation, just like pregnancy. It's not a mental health illness. It's not an estrogen deficiency disease. It's just another part of the female life cycle. Your body's changing, so you have to make a few changes too. And it really is quite simple. Menopause is it's a complex condition, but it doesn't have to be complicated to get control of your symptoms. And it is quite easy to get back to feeling like yourself again, and feeling better even than they used to in your 30s. Yeah. So there's nothing to be scared of. It's just a thing.
I love that. I love how you're selling me on the menopause.
Oh, yeah.
No, Jess, it's going to be a breeze. Like, you're going to ace
promoting a product here, yeah.
The menopause.
Yeah, get your
50s in style. I love it. I think it's really interesting. And I think the thing that makes me smile is, when we talk about sales, the menopause is not the first thing you think of, I'll be honest. But actually, when you're talking about it and you're talking about the fact that you have to educate the people around you, that is a lot to do with sales. Because ultimately, sales is about communication and about persuasion and about decision making. And if you live with any spouse or children, teenagers, anybody around you, and you have to communicate that you have something going on health-wise that perhaps is a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You do need to bring your communication skills and your persuasion skills to the front, because you have to be able to ask for what you want during that time period, and you have to be able to ultimately help other people make that decision to help you get where you want to be.
Yeah, that's right. And just because it's the menopause doesn't mean you have to treat it any differently to anything else that you need help with. You know, if you want help, you've got to ask for it, whatever that help is, whether it's to do with the menopause, whether it's help with shopping, whether it's help with your kids, whether it's help with your pets, your parents, whether you need help at work. You've got to learn how to communicate. And it's exactly the same with the menopause.
Yeah, I just have to obviously say in advance. So to my boyfriend, in about 30 years' time, when I'm going through the menopause, this is my advance ask for help. I will need you at that point in time to help me with everything, because I just don't want to do anything else. And I will be using it as an excuse for every single thing in my life. But help is a good place to start for today's episode, because obviously you're here to ask a sales question. And I'm really excited about your sales question, because I've had a sneaky taster of what I think it might be about. So why don't you tell us what your question is?
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, menopause, like we're saying, it has this reputation as a taboo topic, you know, but as far as I'm concerned, menopause isn't a silent issue. We need to be talking about it, but it's impossible for me to reach everyone when I'm just hanging around on social media or working with a few private clients. So I've written a book, okay, the Hot Flush Freedom Challenge. Yay! Just simply to be able to reach tens of thousands of more women so they can get their lives back a lot more quickly than they would otherwise. My question is, how do you map out a book launch? Is it the same as launching a normal product? Is it more involved than that? How far in advance do you start? How do you keep the momentum going after the book launch? So yeah, book launches, Jess. What do you think?
I love a book launch. I feel like we have to make the, you know, Hot Flush Freedom Guide as big as 50 Shades of Grey.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think very, very similar, okay? And the reason why they're similar, bear with me, is not because of any links to any female anatomical parts. See how I did that? I did not say the V word on the podcast.
I know, that's it. Controversy. Can you say the V word on a podcast? You'd be amazed the amount of times I have to say the V word, obviously, because of the ladies that I work with.
See, this is the thing. I'm like, do we just drop the V-bomb? The reason that they're similar is because they're niche markets. So 50 Shades of Grey obviously appealed to a very, very niche audience and then became mainstream because in its nicheness, if that's a word, it appealed to the right people. It had a very specific target market like yours. And that's actually a real bonus when it comes to writing a book, because if you look at the books that are typically successful, they are ones that do appeal to a certain kind of people. You know, Harry Potter is huge because teenagers and children everywhere wanted to be wizards. 50 Shades of Grey had a very, very specific target market interested in specific types of activities. I honestly cannot tell you guys. We're doing this on Zoom, so we are doing this on video. And I look about as uncomfortable can get. Anyway, that's my fault for choosing an odd book off the bat. But, you know, these are the most successful types of books. And the way that you have a book launch and a way that you have a successful book launch is to plan strategically. So there are a lot of things that you need to be doing before the book launch in order to make it successful. And when we talk about launching anything, as always, it's looking at your audience. How many people do you have that are interested in this thing? So, for example, when I launched the podcast, for example, I had 1,900 people in a Facebook group. I had 10,036 people, there we go, precise, on my email list. I knew that sales was something that my audience wanted to hear about. And it's the same with your book. So in terms of what you should be doing now, and bear in mind, we are recording this in advance. I told Julie that I would say this. You know, by the time you guys hear this episode, it'll be about 2 weeks before Julie's book actually hits Amazon and the shelves, which I'm very excited about.
In that #1 bestseller slot. Exactly.
We've got all of the I's and T's crossed and dotted. We're going to watch this. But you need to be looking right now at growth. So looking at your audience right now and how many people do you actually have and how many do you want? Because the important thing about a book launch, and this goes for anything, iTunes, Amazon, even Facebook to a certain degree, any platform that has algorithms needs you to make a splash with your initial post, initial episode, initial launch.
Yeah.
Now, Amazon doesn't like to tell anybody this, but what they typically do is on the day that your book comes out, they measure it by sales on that day and obviously reviews.
Yeah.
So in the interim, while you're not selling the book, you can't obviously get any reviews. So if you get 100 reviews on day one, Amazon's a bit like, we don't think so. Not everyone is a speed reader. But if you give out pre-copies, so if you ask perhaps people in your community, hey, if I gave you a pre-copy of the book, would you commit to reviewing it on day one of the launch?
Yeah.
And you could give them a free copy of the ebook. And then that way you know that on launch day, you are going to have reviews straight out the gate that actually are real reviews. Because the thing is, you don't want people to just go on and be like, oh, I loved it. Because that's
that's kind of spammy, isn't it? And actually, so, there's some ladies in the book who are case studies who I can approach to do that. Perfect. And also my beta reader group as well. I'm sure we'll be happy to do that. Yeah.
You have those people already lined up. Then the second thing we have to look at is, okay, we need people to buy it on that specific day. And in fact, this is one of the ways that I went really not wrong with my podcast, but one of the things I didn't do was tell everybody to download and review it on the same day. I was kind of like, just do it sometime within 8 weeks and that'll be cool.
In your own time, guys.
Just do it whenever, like as long as you like it. And actually what that meant was that I didn't play to the algorithms. So obviously when you're launching your book, what you want to be doing is playing to the algorithms and really hyping up 2 weeks before the launch, making sure that 2 weeks before the launch or the book goes live on Amazon, you're being featured in different places. So like now, you're on the podcast, I'd be writing blogs, I would be getting featured as a guest expert in different places, I would be asking people to share your waitlist.
Yeah, so that's it. The call to action is all to get onto the waitlist. And how do you incentivize people to join a waitlist? So, it could be maybe, I guess, giving away a free chapter or giving away a checklist or a quiz but you need I'm assuming you need some kind of incentivization to ask them to join the list or?
Yeah, absolutely. And some people just want to join the list because they do want the book.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if you can talk about what the key benefits are of the book, it's kind of like when we ask people to sign up for discovery calls. We can't guarantee what they're going to get out of that call, but we do have a pretty good idea of the benefits that are happening during that breakthrough. They're going to get action steps, they're going to get a breakthrough. If they're on the waiting list for the book, they're going to get access to it first.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to solve their problem quicker. They're going to get, maybe you do, like say, a free chapter, or maybe you do a really cool, like behind the scenes, where you do a couple of different mini videos or audios that they get to listen to that actually talk about the stuff that they're going to learn in the book. Maybe you even offer free calls to the people on the wait list, and then you get discovery calls and book sales. That's always a winner. But either way, every call to action needs to be traffic to wait list.
Yeah.
And then that way we're building this wait list. And ideally, you probably want to get 100 people on that wait list as a minimum, so that when Amazon launches and you send out your email that day, the book is out, it's ready to go and buy it now. If 10% of those people are going to buy, you're climbing up the categories.
Sure. And you reckon 2 weeks before to start building that wait list, do you? Yeah.
Because if you do it any earlier, people are having to wait a long time.
Yeah.
And then what you do is that traditional thing where we open up a can of worms for somebody and we say, you've got this big problem, go onto this wait list, and in 6 weeks' time, I'm going to solve the problem for you. And we don't want to be doing that. We also, before the launch, don't want to be stressing you out by going, create a ton more content, Julie, to keep your wait listers interested. Because by that time, you're like, no, I'm really frazzled and I have to get the launch week out. So that would be my thing. 2 weeks before, that's when you build your wait list. That keeps your audience engaged. You can maybe send your wait list 2 to 3 pieces of content in that time. Really be priming them for the fact that the book is coming, and ask them to share with their friends. They don't have to share it publicly because, as we've already talked about.
Yeah, a lot of women don't want to talk about it, unfortunately. Yeah.
But by email, I don't know about you, but I have a few very close girlfriends that I will talk about pretty much anything to. Awkward if you're any of my exes. But, you know, we can talk about that kind of thing. And I'd be quite happy to email them and say, hey, look, there's this book on the menopause. I think it's going to be great. Here's the wait list if you want to.
Yeah, I think awesome stocking filler for your best mate, personally. Well, maybe not your best mate, but maybe mine.
I'm like that and a bottle of Pinot Grigio and they're done. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So ask the people on your wait list to share it out with anybody that they know. And the other thing that you can do is you can offer incentives for people who are sharing it, for who are making it public for you. If you're going out and doing that, you could give them like a free call with you or something. I see a lot of people running competitions now. It's more prevalent in the podcasting space, but it also does happen in the book launch space where maybe they get a signed copy of the book.
Yeah, and you just use a random generator to choose the winner. Yeah,
go with random number generator is always the way to go and make life easy. And then obviously on launch day itself, you send out one email in the morning. The book is here. Here's the link. Go and get it. And make it very short, very simple, very snappy, because ultimately these people have been waiting for it.
That's it. Go buy. Go get
the book. It's amazing. And then later on in the day, you might also send out a second email. You know, and this one can be more personal. This can be that I'm asking you for help.
Yeah.
I want this to be an Amazon bestseller. The reason I want it to be an Amazon bestseller is because I genuinely want to impact tens of thousands of women around the world who are suffering from the same problem that you have and that I have had and that other women are going through right now.
Yeah.
Much easier for them to see this book as a credible resource, that number one spot. So I'd really like it if we could pull together as a team, because ultimately your audience wants to support you. They
do, and they want, and you know, some of them are happy to talk, and some of them really want to talk. They just need a little bit of encouragement. I think this will really help.
And that's the thing, you know, if you do have any testimonials, any video testimonials, or if anyone's willing to do like a Facebook Live and talk about not the experience they had perhaps, but the breakthroughs that they had working with you.
Yeah.
Those go down very well pre-launch. You know, and also on the launch day to say, hey, look, you might not be able to work with me one-on-one, but if you can't, this is the next best thing. You know, this is your way of doing it. So that was what I do on launch day. Have the two emails sending out. One is the short and snappy, and then one is the I'm asking for your help. And during that launch week, you want to be visible.
Yeah, so I was thinking a cheeky challenge in the lead up to the launch day, you know, with the upsell from the challenge being the book, the sale of the book. What do you think about that?
I think that could be really cool. I think, interestingly, I would keep it to be a short challenge. I would do perhaps 3 days.
Yes.
And cover off 3 main points rather than a 5-day, because I think after 5 days it's too busy. Yeah,
also it's Christmas, so people really are not interested in making too many healthy changes around that time. I know my head will be in the celebrations bag by then, so I'm sure everybody else's will be as well.
You're talking to the girl who's eaten 5 Reese's peanut butter cups today.
Oh, well, Jill.
I've already started Christmas. It's only November, but I'm going to go. But yeah, no, I absolutely see that. I think a 3-day challenge with perhaps some of the more emotional stuff that leads to the physical. So the kind of why you're feeling the way you do, why you're not sleeping, that kind of thing, go down better. And then that way, like you say, you're not taking anyone away from the eat a ton of turkey, go to a bunch of Christmas parties, drink all the cocktails you can possibly manage. You know, it's a bit more relatable and it's a bit easier for them to do. And then obviously upsell into the book. And then during launch week, because you want to be visible, that's when you want to have another series of articles, like blogs going out on major publications. It's when you want to be getting people to interview you. So Danielle Laporte did this really, really well. When she created White Hot Truth, her latest book, which I'm obsessed by, she did a whole series of interviews with people who had her ideal clients in their market. And she did podcast interviews with them. She did Facebook Live interviews with them. And they weren't about the book. They were about her experiences and just normal interviews. And then at the end, she plugged the book for everything. And that went on for about 2 weeks after the book had actually launched and you could get a copy. And I remember buying the book only because I heard her interview with Ali Brown. And I thought it was phenomenal, and I had to have it. There was one quote that she said in the podcast with Ali Brown. I was like, I have to read the entire book because of it. So I think, post launch day, have a series of interviews that you want to be doing, or because you've been speaking at different events, release some clips of the talks, like 2-minute snippets.
Yeah.
And have the link to the book. Hey, if you want to know more about this is where you can go and find the book. Get featured in some of the publications and go mainstream. You're in the UK, you could look at The Guardian, you can look at the Daily Mail, the female section.
Female, yeah.
The magazines, things that are Marie Claire, that kind of thing. Love those kinds of articles because nobody else is talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. And actually for things like Marie Claire, it's probably, for them, it'd probably be more maybe the January article for them, isn't it? It's post-Christmas when everybody is finally ready to get themselves sorted again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think those kinds of things, you want to be planning in advance and get them as close to the launch date as possible. But actually, if you can tie it into, how people feel about the menopause just before Christmas, when you've already got a lot of stressful things going on, when your clothes don't fit, when you're not sleeping properly,
when you can't wear a Christmas jumper because they're too hot.
Unless you want to be Rudolph.
I know. So a couple of years ago, I was actually skiing, just after Christmas. Yeah. It was really menopausal at the time. So I was literally the only person skiing in a strappy top.
I can just imagine you zooming down the mountain in a little
hair flowing. Yeah.
Chilling.
In my little cami top. Yeah. Everyone else is all wrapped up with bowler hats on.
That is something you should put on a meme. You should really meme that for your book. I think that'd be fantastic. But I think having those guest expert and credibility builders during the week of the launch will really help. Putting out snippets from your talks will really help. Having the call to action as being the book, and get people to interview you. If you can't find any podcasts or anything to be on around that time, get on your Facebook business page and get people to interview you about different aspects. Get your clients, previous clients to interview you. Get your beta readers to interview you and give you their thoughts about the book, because obviously these are sneak peeks. If people haven't already read it, it's really interesting for them to hear what the biggest learn was from somebody who's just picked it up.
Yeah.
And those things can be really helpful post-launch. And then if you do one of those a day, you'll find that actually people really, really engage. And it goes without saying, you want to be emailing your list consistently. The waitlisting people, you'll be wanting to email them every day for at least 5 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people won't always buy on day 1, but they'll buy on day 2 or day 3 or day 4.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and we want to be giving them different reasons to buy on each day. So day 1, they've had the short and sweet, buy the book, and then they've had the I need your help. Then we could look at a fears-based email. What happens if you don't buy the book? You know, or why are you scared of buying the book? Because sometimes we think that if we know the full situation, it will be worse. People do this with money a lot. They're like, I don't want to look at my bank balance because I don't want to know. But in reality, when we actually see it, it's not so bad.
Yeah, that's it. I think, because people are scared of the changes that they might have to make to feel better. But believe me, they're not that bad, I still drink, I still eat chocolate. I just don't do it as much as I used to. You don't have to become a vegan or super disciplined, fit chick in order to get control of your menopause symptoms. You just need to make some, balanced choices.
And that's the thing. People don't see that. So I think a fears email of, hey, look, why are you avoiding doing this? Can be really helpful for calling people out gently and for reassuring them that actually it's not going to be as bad as they think. Then I do a kind of desires transformation email. What do they want to happen? What can happen if they read the book?
Yeah, where do you want to, how do you want to feel this time next Christmas? Yeah,
exactly. Because ultimately, right now, they are sat in their Christmas jumper, feeling like crab. And that's the thing. And I would really use those images, those really vivid pictures, and say, I know where you are. I've been there.
Yeah.
And now is your time. You get to make a choice. You get to stay where you are and you get to suffer, and it can be really crap. And you can go to your doctor and get all the medication thrown at you and it still doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or you can read the book. You can make a couple of choices. Yeah, they're not probably going to be your first choices, but they will help. and it's a lot cheaper and a lot less stressful than going and, going down the hospital every 5 minutes. If you have those kinds of emails, and then obviously after that, you'd send an email probably with a case study or a testimonial. You might do a quick video for them. There are lots of emails that you can send out that are nice and easy and that don't make them feel like that you're jumping down their throat every 5 minutes to buy the book, that are actually informative as well as going
so it's like a traditional funnel, really, where it's the mix of content and based on their fears and based on their desires, and then come on, are you ready to step up? Do you choose to struggle, or do you choose to change?
Exactly. It's the same as everything. Ultimately, we have to inspire people to take action.
Yeah.
And some people are inspired by not wanting to be stuck in their pain anymore. So we have to remind them of what that pain is and what the consequences are of staying there. And other people are inspired by the aspirational stuff. People who've gone through it before. What does it look like for them? How easy was it? Because ultimately, we as humans, we lack self-control and discipline. We like to do what we want to do when we want to do it. And also we lack self-belief. We tend to think it's really easy for that person because. So if we can see a lot of instances where actually many people have gone through it and it's been fine, it makes it easier for us to think, oh, well, okay, it can't be that bad.
Yeah, maybe I'll give it a go.
Exactly. So I think that's all you need to do. You need to choose how you inspire people. And then obviously, like I say, get on the radio, do the local stuff. I wouldn't.
Yeah, local radio, local newspapers. Yeah.
I wouldn't try everything, and I certainly wouldn't go into Facebook ads territory. There's no need. You've got a large enough audience.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking about Facebook ads anyway. I think, this, because I guess my main concern about this had been just because it's the time of year, because Christmas does swamp everything. I mean, look what Halloween just did. It's ridiculous. So, the whole Christmas thing is just like, it's coming in there. So I need to shine, outside of all the adverts for, crackers and anything else you might be wanting to get at this time of year. I
think probably the take I would put on it is to create standout images. So have, maybe you dress up in a jumper and, have the really red face, like sat next to the roaring fire, really miserable with your glass of wine. And you use those kinds of things to promote your posts and to stand out in the newsfeed, particularly on social media, because those things are going to catch people's eyes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you try and do the whole, oh, look, I'm here, there's this picture of me writing a book, like, it's nice, but when it's Christmas, people are looking for something that's going to stand out. The other thing
is, right, instead of the usual pictures of, everyone's perfect Christmas, which doesn't exist anyway, right?
I've never had a perfect Christmas.
Me neither. Yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. One where nobody argues and nobody fights over the last chocolate and all. Yeah, absolutely. But then the other thing is, you want to be also thinking about putting together your promotional plan and just making sure that it's cohesive, it's congruent with your emails, and that you're repurposing. So you're not having to create tons and tons and tons of content. And that way it's going to make it a lot easier for you. Yeah.
Okay, again, so that's the same as, normal, where you would write a long blog and then you unpick the little bits for the tweets, the Instagram posts and the Facebook posts and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. Nothing changes. I think we often get caught up, especially around Christmas, with, well, nobody will buy because it's Christmas. But in actual fact, that's the time everyone's buying. Everyone's really got their hand in their wallet and they're like, what can I buy? And I know.
What next?
I'm like, I can see husbands' eyes lighting up everywhere where they're like, oh, I can get her a book on the menopause. Great. It'd be like the year that my dad got my mum tea towels, and I remember thinking, I'm going to kill you. But also, we still remember it 10 years later. So,
Yeah, and you know what? There is a chapter in the book written for male partners, so they might want to have a sneaky read of that themselves before they hand it over to their female partners.
And this is the thing, be thinking about it not as competing with Christmas, but collaborating with Christmas. It's the perfect time to launch something. Everyone's already primed to buy. All they need to do is know the reason to purchase. And as long as you've got your benefits there and you're listing those out, and as long as you're making it simple for people, you'll be fine. So many people purchase in December. Even Sam, for example, he does all of his Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. Really stresses me out.
Oh my God.
But he loves, I know, but he loves, quote, the adrenaline rush. Like, oh my God, it's like heart attack season for me. But you have those people, those impulse buyers. You have the people who are, I'm in December mode, I need to buy everything. And you have people who genuinely want to help their partners get through December.
Mm-hmm.
They know it's going to be stressful. They know it's going to be hard. And with something like the menopause as well, it's not going to be easy. So I think you'll find a lot of support and a lot of sales there.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm really, really excited about it again now. It's really
I'm so excited. I will know another best-selling author. There will be another one of my clients that has the one spot. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be pimping you everywhere.
My menopause.
I'll be sharing all the links out. All of my friends will be like, Jess, we've got 30 years. I'm like, it's okay, buy it now and you'll be ready.
Prepared.
Exactly. Fail to prepare. Prepare to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we've got it. Well, anyway, it's been so lovely, and seriously, your question was amazing. So thank you for that, and thank you for being.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. That was just, I've had laser coaching sessions with you before, Jess, as part of the Dotters, and you just get so much information in such a short space of time that's actionable immediately. Brilliant. Thank you.
I'm really happy, and I can't wait to see the launch. And of course, when this goes to air, it will be a few weeks, and people now will have the opportunity. I feel like I'm future Jess. I'm like. Now you have the opportunity to get onto that wait list for Julie. So Julie, where can people find you? How can they get on the wait list for your book?
Yeah, to get on the wait list is very simple. You just need to pop over to juliedennis.net/book. It's that simple.
I love it. Simple, easy, quick. And like I say, if you have any questions about the menopause, even if you are 28 and kind of not really thinking about it yet, Julie is your lady. So please make sure you hop on over to juliedennis.net, check her out, make sure you get on the wait list for the book, either for yourself or for somebody else this Christmas. Yeah. I'm sure it will go down really well as a Christmas gift.
It will. Do you know what? It's going to be in the top 10 gifts for Christmas this year. It'll be the surprise entry.
I can see John Lewis putting it out there now. Amazing. Thank you so much, my love. It's been epic. And for everybody else, if you've liked this episode, obviously, please remember to go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you don't miss out on any of the other episodes. And if you've enjoyed the conversation, feel free to leave us a review. Let us know what we did really well. And I will see you on Monday.